Thank you, Cathaoirleach. I think the question speaks for itself insofar as I'd like to hear the Minister's response in relation to the rollout of broadband in my constituency and other rural constituencies like it. It's incumbent on me and others, public representatives in my own constituency, whom are working tirelessly in our effort to ensure that the transition away from peat power generation is one which meets with the approval of those we represent, and we want to ensure that every effort has been made on the part of government in relation to its contract rollout for broadband, that it is meeting its commitment and is available to those who wish to avail of it and take on board the opportunities that arise as a result of government investment in the area as a result of transition.
Thank you, Deputy Minister.
And I propose to take questions 5, 16, 25 and 26 together, Lascan Corla. And I just want to thank the Deputy for raising the question. Broadband connection points are among the first deliverables of the National Broadband Plan and will provide high-speed broadband connectivity to public accessible sites in rural and isolated areas of the country, including a number of our offshore islands. These sites will be provided with a temporary wireless connection by National Broadband Ireland, the company contracted to deliver the National Broadband Plan. This connection will remain in situ until the sites have been given a permanent connection under the NBP. As of last Thursday, the 10th of December 2020, 162 sites had the initial connection established by NBI. Of these, 133 had been passed to Vodafone to install their equipment to provide broadband services to the site. Vodafone had installed their equipment at 113 of these sites up to last Thursday and are continuing with their installations. And in terms of your own constituency, Deputy Lee Shoffley, there's 8 connected broadband points. There's Vicarstown, Usheen House, Emo Community Centre, and then in Offaly, Ballycommon, Primo Coaches, Coolderry Community Hall, Kilclonferret and Croghan Community Hall. So they have been connected. There's another 5 waiting to be connected, and it's my plan that all of these connections will be done by the end of Q1. In addition to the substantial investment already made in the BCPs, my department is planning to develop the facilities and services available at these sites. Included in this programme is the use of e-health technology at BCPs, and if successful, this could reduce the need to travel from remote areas to towns and cities for many medical appointments, and I think that's something that is to be welcomed. My officials are also exploring the use of BCPs as educational settings, as remote working hubs and as locations for the creative arts. Under Budget 2021, I secured an additional €5 million to enhance remote working capability and remote access for students at BCPs and digital hubs across rural Ireland next year. The location of all BCPs which have been installed or which are planned across the country is available on the National Broadband Ireland's website, nbi.ie. And can I just say that the National Broadband Plan is the biggest investment in rural Ireland since electrification, and nobody's questioning anything about it, whether it was the right decision or anything else. All we want to do now is how soon can we get the broadband, and it's probably it's a very frequent request into my constituency office, because I'm hearing about people who need to go online for different reasons, remote working, and they want to know how soon can we get it. Obviously, rolling out this National Broadband Plan is akin to rural electrification, and we just can't get it to every house straight away. So in the interim, we're going to use these broadband connection points. I have a fund of €5 million, and what I want to do is I want to help communities maybe create spaces, whether it's spaces where you can have co-working or spaces where you can go in and maybe do your college work or whatever in these halls. And I think for a small amount of investment we can make a real difference in communities, because I actually had a teacher calling me the other day, and they need to do they're doing some exam marking, and they need to be able to upload it. So they have poor broadband where he actually lives. And I said, well, actually, the good news is there's a broadband connection point very close to you. So, you know, with a wee bit of adaptation, there's no reason why that can't be fitted out so you can go in there and do your work. So we are continuing to roll out these BCPs right across the country in black spots, and we'll have 300 of them up and running by next spring, including a number in all of the counties I mentioned. There's a number of them here. And I think there is some scope to include additional BCP locations next year. So what I would say is that if deputies have locations that they feel are suitable, they should alert the broadband officer in their local authority, who can make the case to my department and the Department of Communications. So also under Town and Village renewal, we've been able to fund some of the kitting out of some of the sites with desks and computers and other equipment. But I think that it's so important that we do that. I also have a co-working facilities mapping exercise, because I do believe that co-working is important, because not everybody wants to work from home permanently. There needs to be a blend here, and indeed I think blended working may be the way of the future. 3 or 4 days working remotely and 1 or 2 days in the office with your workers is probably the best. As I said, the WDC are doing a mapping project of all the hubs along the Atlantic Economic Corridor from Kerry to Donegal. So some people might not know it, but we already have about 350 hubs across the country, but some of those are more suited for community use than remote working full-time. So my plan is that we will do this mapping exercise right across the entire country, develop an app so that any worker will be able to log on, find the hub that is closest to them and meet their needs. And you talked about job creation, Deputy, in the Midlands, particularly in view of what's happening with the peatlands. There's going to be a big boost to the IDA when they're trying to attract some of the big tech companies, when we show that we have a top-class network of these hubs right across the country.
Thank you, Minister. Now, there are a number of TDs, and I'm going to go to each one. So, Deputy Barry Cowen is the first, and then Deputy Staunton, McSharry, and Deputy Murnan O'Connor. So I'll go to each in turn. Deputy Barry Cowen.
Thank you very much, Cathaoirleach, and I'll be very brief, and to thank the Minister for the response and the details contained therein, and acknowledge the progress that has been made to date and the commitment in relation to Q1 and in the case of my own constituency, the 5 outstanding BCPs that are due for connection in Q1 in South Offaly mainly. I welcome that. I note what has been said in relation to blended learning and the connectivity that is required in relation to hubs, and the mention you made of any black spots that we feel in my constituency or any other that may need verification, and contact with yourselves in relation to a commitment to work on those in relation to the mapping exercise in Q1 and 2 as well. So thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Deputy.